Hello YouTube, this is MR1079 bringing you another World of Warships video of the top 5 variety, and today we're taking a look at my personal top 5 battle cruisers. And I know it should have been like battleships, cruisers, aircraft carriers, destroyers, but I did think, why not let us get the battle cruisers in here since it is a type of ship class. And I'm going to be completely honest, this is my second time doing this video because I have decided when I was going to go and make the thumbnail of it for it and just get some, I saw a thumbnail of like some German battle cruisers pulled up to kind of get me a reference, and I completely had forgotten that the Germans had battle cruisers. I just completely kept it to British and the one American, which is in this top 5 list. And I just can't believe I completely forgot about the German one. So, if you want, let me know in the comments. I'll release that one like after this video comes released. Is like, oh, just you have to see this video to see that video type deal to understand why I was like, oh. But the first one we're taking a look at is HMS Tiger, a British battle cruiser, and also has some close cousins to the Congo class of battle cruiser. But for now, they are not on this list because they were uh, reclassified by the Japanese Navy as battleships, then put back down to battle cruisers. But we'll just say for now they're battleships. And since I'm taking a look at Tiger, that is kind of a little bit heavily more armed with torpedo tubes than Congo, that is an honorable mention. Congo is an honorable mention. But this one is like has a less bigger gun than I think Congo. Congo has 14-inch guns, and I believe Tiger here has 13.5-inch guns. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. But she is a fairly good ship. I've had many good games with her, and since she is the first starting into the British battle cruiser line, she is a good ship to get. You start it on your journey if you don't have like another one of the contenders, that I will mention later on in the video. But if you're used to playing as Congo, you'll be blown away at the performance that Tiger here does. And I believe I have done a video on Tiger and Congo versing each other, so either go check that video out, or I will have it pop up in the right hand corner throughout this segment with Tiger. On to the next ones. I'm going up into the German line, which is another low tier ship. I passed it, which is that of Der Flinger, the Germans' first battle cruiser. And this is in no particular order, these are just my top 5 battle cruisers and all that. She is armed with, I believe, 12-inch guns, since it pretty much the British always had the bigger gun and the Germans had the lesser gun. But this ship, in its history, being pretty much one of the only few battle cruisers that they actually had before they got to the Der Flinger class out and about, I had to put her on the list. All the other ones did not exist except the Mackensen, which technically were built up to the hull, but and plenty of people say, hey, that would have been the turning point maybe at the Battle of Jutland, and there were some Mackesons. So I give at least one of the German high seas fleets on this list, just as a shout out to them. Going back to the British, I am bringing in now a tier 5 battle cruiser. I originally did, well, Stick, you said Stick was British, and added Repulse, but since I'm redoing this and now I'm going for adding both the Germans the British, and another one, I have decided to cut Repulse from this list because Renown here is what this class would have looked like if she would have gotten her World War II upgrades. She is a quite heavily armed battle cruiser. She is armed with 15-inch guns, and she has a nice AA defense to where she should have been good in the Pacific against the Japanese if this one would have gotten its upgrades. Unlike Repulse, she actually has 4 torpedo tubes for 8 grand in total, 4 on each side, and she does have the good secondary battery to take down lightly armored cruisers and destroyers if they get too close. She is one of a few battle cruisers that actually survived the Washington Naval Treaty and was a good ship, and pretty much the British got their use out of these ships. Granted, I wish that they would have kept one of the battle cruisers, at least some, maybe Repulse, since this has like World War One history and World War II history. Let me know your thoughts on that. And if I don't mention the most famous battle cruiser of all in this tier list, you're all gonna crucify me, I think, in the comment section. So, of course, we have to add HMS Hood, the most famous battle cruiser of all, but for the completely wrong reasons of she was sunk by the Bismarck. And I'm saying this all now. If you do want me to release the other one, like down the line, the first one that I did of this battle cruiser top 5 list, you will not hear any of this. This is now off the top of my head. I have no script. I'm just remembering this all from memory, and I decided, let me make this better. She was, at the time, the biggest and most heavily armed British battle cruiser in the Royal Navy. And plenty of people say if she were to have survived her encounter with Bismarck, she would have gotten an upgrade that would have made the Vanguard class pretty much non-existent. And that she would have been upgraded from battlecruiser status to battleship status. And I will say this ship, since it is a battlecruiser configuration, she herself, if in the right circumstances, she is a fantastic premium ship, especially since she is the first battlecruiser in the World of Warships Legends game, also armed with little anti-aircraft rocket pods, as you can see all over herself. And like I say, if the circumstances are good, she is a fantastic ship. You will get a good game out of her. But if you get bad circumstances and get terrible, like say your friends leave you or your team leaves you or you're all going to this one area and it's just a slaughter, she will not be forgiving. But when done right, I will say she is a good ship. If you have the chance to get her, I highly recommend getting the first and the most famous of the battle cruisers on this list. And I have to add what could have been a good battle cruiser start for the Americans. This is the USS Constellation. I had a brain fart there for a second. Constellation. She is what the Lexington class aircraft carriers would have looked like if they were built as battle cruisers, and this one especially is into a World War II configuration if they were. Maybe some timeline they got Constellation here out, and then the other two were then converted into their aircraft carriers, and since this one is armed with the same caliber guns as the Carolina class, or the Colorado class, excuse me, she would have had plenty of shells to go around, and with her being upgraded to this was the 5 dual-purpose 5-inch guns and all this anti-aircraft guns, she would have been a formidable ship, especially a good ship to have at the beginning, I believe, in World War II if she was not at Pearl Harbor. She is also the only American capital ship that is not pre-Washington Naval Treaty era cruisers or any of or destroyer that actually has torpedo tubes. So she's got some more devastating firepower with her. Pretty much this ship even though, yes, lightly armored as a battlecruiser, I think would have held the front lines in the Pacific and doing the most damage since she is a battlecruiser. They are meant to go after heavy cruisers, so I think this ship would have been the workhorse, much like Enterprise was as the only aircraft carrier after a certain point, until the more modern ships would have come online, because the North Carolina class and the South Dakota class battleships only got up to 27 knots. Unlike Constellation here, got up to 33.3 knots as her gain speed. So until the Iowa class came online in like 42 and all that, she would have been the backbone, and I'm pretty sure she still would have been pretty much front and center, if not lightly armored up after what happened on Pearl Harbor, going after pretty much she would have been the one out there shelling it with the heavy cruisers instead of potentially the Alaska class heavy cruisers or cruiser killers. But actually, it brings me a thought. Let me know in the comments if at least one Lexington class battle cruiser was made and didn't get scrapped during the Washington Naval Treaty. Do you think this would have been the workhorse of the Pacific, much like Enterprise was hunting down ships? Especially with how well armed she is. Granted, she wouldn't have had this. Well, maybe a modernization was the 5-inch guns, but then she probably would have went back to port and got armored up with anti-aircraft guns for like escort duty of aircraft carriers, and also just hunting down, since she had the speed and the firepower to take down heavy cruisers. Do you think this one would have had more attention, or they wouldn't had got the other things? Sorry about that. Let me know. Do you think these ships would have replaced the Alaskas, or this one ship? Let me know. And as always, that's where I'm going to leave it off for now, so I want to thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell to notify you anytime that I post a video or go live, and please leave your comments down below and tell me, what is your favorite battle cruiser in the game? I was thinking about adding P-100s instead of their flingers, since you get torpedo tubes in the secondary gun range, but I had to give Derflinger in there since she was an actual ship. So, let me know, and your thoughts on all the other stuff I asked. And as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I shall catch y'all in the next one. See ya.